Okay, what we're going to show you here is how to do a basic drag service on your spinning reel. The object of a drag is to create friction where friction is required and allow slippage where slippage is required. For people who have never done one before, it really is important to lay things out so that there's no confusion as to the order of componentry and how it should go back together. The drag systems are fairly simple, there's not a lot to them, to be honest. We've got a retaining clip here in the top, which usually I just use my fingernail to get it out. We simply remove that retaining clip. I'm going to place that there because it's the first component out. Turning the spool upside down, placing it on the bench, and using, it could be a screwdriver, a small screwdriver, this is just a little sharp spike that I've got here, and pushing downward from the inside will help that drag system to fall out on the bench. Simply lifting the spool up, and there's our drag system upside down, granted, on the bench, but in order. At this stage we need to be careful that we don't flick it across the table, drop it on the floor, etc, etc. That little spacer there is my last component, so I'm going to put that at the end of the line, being the last component out, and then simply lay the drag system out as it came out, ensuring that our order stays correct. Any white spirit will actually do the job for you very, very well, and of course it's clean. Paintbrush, old paintbrush is a great idea because it helps to actually remove any of the greases there that you can't reach with your fingers. It gets down into every little nook and cranny, and a simple and quick clean removes any of the grease that we've got there. Our felt friction washers can be simply thrown in. They're all the same, so it doesn't matter really what order we have them in. They're all identical washers in this situation. It may be important if you see that you've got different size or different shape washers to make sure that your order is correct. Rub the washer between my fingers, and that will ensure that any impregnated material, whether it be grease, dirt or otherwise, is removed from the washer, and I place it back in my assembly line. Now that's the entirety of cleaning our drag system. The only thing we've got left to do is actually clean inside the spool itself. If you do get a bit of solvent on your line, it's not actually going to be a problem, despite what people might tell you or what your preconceived ideas might be. A white spirit, totally harmless and will evaporate away very quickly. This particular grease is a grease that we now sell in the retail market for Daiwa. And it's a grease it's a general purpose lubricant which will actually do the entirety of the inside of our reels, but it's also an extremely good drag lubricant. One really easy way to tell how good a lubricant's going to be is take a little bit between your fingers and test it like that. And if that lubricant is tacky and wants to stick together, then the chances are it's actually going to work okay in a drag system. A little bit of grease on your fingers and rubbed into that drag washer and pushed into the drag washer using your fingers. That's why your fingers are the best tools to use here rather than a paintbrush or any other applicating tool. The fingers will get right in there and ensure that the drag washer has a good coating and the grease is actually absorbed into the felt. We do not want excessive amounts of grease on here. A lot of people will get an enormous amount of grease, coat the washer, coat the table, coat their fingers, coat everything, and you end up with a situation where we're going to actually reduce or impede friction between the two components of the drag. A reassembly is exactly the same as disassembly, only in the reverse order. First component in is the last component out, being our little spacer or bush there. Drop it in with your fingers and locate. It's worth pointing out at this stage, now that we can see very clearly, that down inside this spool we've got 4 drilled holes around the outside. First friction washer, in she goes. First metal washer, sits down in there like that. Second friction washer, and here's our different plate, our lugged plate. And the important thing is, you can't just drop it in like that and hope it's going to be okay. Using fingers to wriggle it around until it locates, just like that. Last friction washer in, and our top plate or click plate locates down into the top just like that. Now that our drag stack's assembled, the last bit in is our retainer clip. Some people might call it a circlip. It's a soft springy wire, so your finger's by far the best tool to put it in with. It has a little groove in the top of our spool that it locates into, and it's important to get that into that groove correctly. If we look really closely around the edge of our spool, we can see that it's not sitting down into that groove, so it's important to go around and actually use your finger, nail, or your little spike to make sure that each one of those corners has located correctly into that groove. Drag knob goes down into place. Again, you'll know that you've got it located usually by a clicking sound as that drag knob goes down into location, and you should still have a free turning spool. We have fishermen sending reels to us all the time that are professional guides. Mark Bargainquist up in Hervey Bay, for instance, chases during the summer months a lot of long-tailed tuna on 4,000 size spinning reels. His drag washers, day in, day out, being used to chase fast, hard-running species like tuna. He could chew through a set of drag washers in a matter of months. Other people would take years and years and years to do the same amount of work. We've just come back from fishing and we've given our gear a wash down. We backed that drag system off to a stage where I can very easily rotate that spool with one finger, just like that, and we know that we're ready to put it away.